Hi, my name is Miss Christy. I'm a teaching artist in the PACE program. We integrate art lessons with the school curriculum. We're coming to you thanks to the Acadiana Center for the Arts, the nonprofit organization that manages the PACE program, and the Lafayette Parish school system in Lafayette, Louisiana. Today we're going to be talking about fireflies. Have you ever seen fireflies before? Fireflies are little insects that light up. They create light on their own. There's a special name for it. Do you know what name that is? It's called bioluminescence. That's a big word. Can you say that? Bioluminescence. It is considered cold light in that it is not from a heat source like the sun or the light bulbs that we have. You can feel the heat coming off of them. With these animals, they're creating this light inside their bodies using a few different chemicals that are mixed together. So that chemical reaction creates the light. Well, do you know what they're doing when they're flying around lighting up the forest or your neighborhood or the meadows where they live? Well, they're talking to each other. The boys are flying around, flashing their light and trying to get the girls' attention. The girls are in the grass waiting to see if there's a boy firefly that she likes, and then she'll flash her little light. So we're going to be making a picture today with fireflies. Now, sometimes people like to catch them and keep them in a jar to make a little lantern. The only problem with that is that the fireflies can't do what they're naturally meant to do, which is come together and make a family. So we're going to make a picture of a jar that has fireflies escaping from it and going out into nature to be free to do what they're naturally meant to do. The only materials that you'll need today are paper, crayons, and a pencil. We're going to start by drawing with a pencil, but then we're going to do the rest of the drawing with crayons. The paper you'll want to fold in half and in half again. You can use any kind of paper. You can use copy paper or you can use white construction paper. The way that you need to fold it is to fold it lengthwise, corner to corner, fold it in half. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is only going to help me guide you through the project. So you'll fold it in half this way, and then you'll fold it in half again. And you'll meet up those corners just like this and fold it. Pinch it nice and tight, and then open it back up again, and you'll see that it has a vertical line and a horizontal line. This is going to help me guide you through the whole project. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to start with our pencil. I want you to find the middle with your finger. Just point to that very middle where those two lines cross. We're going to trace the line in the middle up to about right here, and you're going to draw a horizontal line for the top of the jar. You can also use a gray crayon if you want, and you can think of this as the top of the jar. It's going to be wide enough to let all of those fireflies escape. Now you're going to go back to the middle and trace your finger down, almost but not quite to the bottom. So right about here, you're going to put another line just like that. So this is the bottom of your jar and this is the top. Next, you're going to make two small lines here going downward, and then you're going to make what is a long, skinny rectangle. Draw some more lines on the inside of that. This is where the lid would screw on. So I have a jar here to show you. I usually keep pens and pencils in it, but this is the kind of jar that someone would use to put the fireflies in and then to let them go. So we've just drawn this top part right here, and now we're going to draw the body of the jar. The way we do that is we're going to make what they call a shoulder right here. So you watch me first and then you try. So we're going to make two curved lines that go down. And you can go ahead and stop there before we go any further. What we're going to do next is we're going to go straight down and then curve toward that foot. That's what we call the bottom of the jar. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to go straight down and then curve toward the bottom. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw what I call little Cheerios. This is actually going to be where the light of the firefly is. So you're going to just draw some very small little circles with a circle around it, like tiny, tiny little donuts. But they're the size of a Cheerio. How old are you? However old you are, put that number inside the jar. So I have a little girl that's 7, so I'm going to do 7 fireflies in my jar, or 7 little Cheerios shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one that's almost made it out of the jar. The next thing we're going to do is draw the firefly. Do you know what kind of bug fireflies are? You might not know this, but they're beetles, not flies. So we're going to draw our little beetles. We're going to draw a little oval in the middle of our Cheerio and give it some little wings. And you're just going to do that with each one. An oval and wings. An oval and wings. Oval, and try to do them spread out across the jar because they're flying around in there. Oval and wings. Oval and wings. So now we're going to have some that have escaped. And what's really important about this part is size. When we look at something that's close to us, it looks bigger than something that's far away. That's called perspective. So in perspective, the fireflies that are here are going to be the same size. So you're going to draw in some Cheerio shapes that are the same size. So I put 4. Now up here, I'm going to put some that are smaller than those. And up here, I'm going to put one even smaller than those. And remember, spread them out. Don't put them all in the same place, and don't line them up because they're flying around looking for each other. They're flying around, lighting their little lights. And remember, put the tiniest ones up at the top. So the more you do, the harder it's going to be to color the sky around it. So only do, let's see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So try to do only as many as you want to color. The next thing is to make those little bodies of the fireflies, or lightning bugs, as some people call them. We do have fireflies here in North America, Most of their time, they're in places where they don't mow the grass as often. It's in places that there's no pesticides or poison for the insects to be poisoned by. And there are lots of them that are actually here in the United States in the Appalachian Mountains. So I've drawn in all of my little flies, and now I'm going to use my crayon. You can use a gray crayon to color a little bit of your jar, or you can use the pencil if you don't have a gray. I'm going to go ahead and use my gray crayon, and I'm just going to kind of trace the jar a little bit. You don't have to color it in all the way. Just go around your fireflies. So we have different blues in our crayon box, and what we're going to use are the dark blues because the fireflies only come out when it gets dark outside. They're nocturnal. So I want you to find your darkest blues. That would be indigo, midnight blue, regular primary blue, or navy blue. This is navy blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline all the ones that are outside of my jar. And what you're doing is you're going to actually color on the inside with yellows. But this just starts the colors of the sky. On the inside of your jar, you can get started with the yellow. So you're going to just color those fireflies and all around them yellow. Don't feel like you have to stay inside your little donut shape. These little fireflies are glowing so bright. So go ahead and just color all around them. And in here, you're going to color inside. If you want to make the skies, the little blue circles around a little wider, you can. But now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my grass. You're going to use as many greens as you can find. I have 4 greens here, and I'm going to start with the regular green, and I'm going to make some blades of grass. Now this grass is long, and we're going to draw it as if it hasn't been cut in a very long time. And the way to do that is to go up and then back down right next to the first line that you made. And so you can color that in after you've made one blade of grass. And remember, we're going to go over the jar because this jar is sitting in the grass, letting these fireflies fly away and go find their mate. So just crisscross those blades of grass. So fill in some tall blades of grass with one color, and then pick a different green and continue to do the same thing. And you're just going to keep doing that until the whole bottom of your picture is filled in with these tall blades of grass. And you can crisscross the different colors. You can make medium-sized grass, and you can make tiny short little pieces of grass. But you want to just try to fill in the whole thing. The more blades of grass you do down here, the better. Some of them can be a little bit curved, like an S. And as soon as you have a bunch of those, switch colors again. Now I have yellow-green. You can even go over some that you already drew, or you can make new ones. Remember, fill in that bottom underneath the jar. All right, I have that color, and now this is my last color, and it's green-yellow. So what's the difference between green-yellow and yellow-green? Well, yellow-green is green with a little bit of yellow, and green-yellow is yellow with a little bit of green. So you can see that this color is almost yellow. And you can even create some little fireflies here in the grass if you want to. I'm going to use my pencil. I'm going to draw in a little girl firefly. So I'm still filling in down here in the grass. I'm almost done. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in my jar to make the jar look like it's glowing. I'm going to trace the jar with yellow. All right, and now I'm ready to do my sky. I'm going to talk to you about bioluminescence and some of the behaviors that the fireflies have. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you that you could put a moon in this. I'm going to put a crescent moon. I'm going to draw the letter C with my blue. And then I'm going to just double that up and make a crescent moon. I'm going to use a darker yellow and fill that in. And I'm going to work on my sky. So I'm starting around my moon, and the dark blue colors will help these fireflies really stand out. There are other animals that do the same thing with bioluminescence, and a lot of them are found in the deep sea or deep parts of the ocean. Some of them are fish. Some of them are jellyfish. You might have heard of the dragonfish that you see here. There are eels, and there are shrimp that do an amazing thing to ward off the predators that are trying to eat them. They actually spit out a bioluminescent kind of spit, and it makes the predators think that it's toxic, and they don't eat the shrimp because of that. So you can see here that I'm coloring in between some of the blades of grass. This is a nighttime picture, so the whole thing up here is going to be covered in blue. Go ahead and color around your jar. And you can see over on this side, I'm going to put a little bit of blue around and in between some of the grass, just to show a little bit of that night sky behind the grass. So there are some of the animals that have bioluminescence. They're doing that to scare away predators, but then they're also trying to attract a mate, just like the fireflies. And most of the time with the fireflies, the pattern of the flashing that they do it doesn't have a rhythm. The flashing is just random and all over the place. But there are only 2 kinds of fireflies in the whole world that will actually sync up or synchronize their flashing together. And you can actually go visit some of these places where the male fireflies are actually creating this pattern of flashing in the grass and through the air in these forest areas of the Appalachian Mountains. These beetles need to have places to lay their eggs, and they need to have places where when the eggs hatch, there's larvae, kind of like a caterpillar, that comes out. And these larvae need to eat. They're carnivorous, just like the adult fireflies, but these larvae actually eat slugs and snails and other insects. So they get that protein from those other insects and those snails, and gradually they're going to turn into the beetles. As a beetle, they don't live very long. As soon as they're finished making those eggs, they die and new fireflies hatch. All right, so I have finished with this color. You can keep going back over it with different blues. You can even go over it with black if you wanted to make your sky even darker. I always recommend to my students to combine colors. So the first color I did was indigo, and if I were to go back over it with a regular blue or a midnight blue, it would kind of change that blue a little bit and make it much more unique and interesting. When my son did his picture, you can see that he colored over the jar because he felt like he wanted to set all of the fireflies free. And when my daughter did hers, you can see here that she did a very good job coloring around all of her fireflies in the sky, and inside of her jar is glowing with the light of those fireflies. All right, I think I'm almost done. So I encourage you to look for fireflies in your neighborhood. Talk to your parents about trying to go out in the country or go somewhere where the fireflies might be. We do have fireflies in Louisiana, especially in the areas near the swamp. They like the environment where it's very wet and there's plenty of food for them around. Some species even eat pollen. There are also 2,000 different species of this kind of beetle, and they call the ones that light up Lampyridae, just like the word lamp. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of black just to show you how good that looks, making the sky as dark as you can. It makes those fireflies really shine. Most of the time that these come out is early at night, before it gets too late. See how bright those fireflies look? You can see that I colored in some black over my blue, and it made the night seem even darker. And it made those fireflies really stand out and shine. It even made my moon shine a little brighter. There. I want to thank you for joining me for this project. Each day we will be posting a new lesson at 10 a.m. Our lessons are geared toward kindergarten, first and second grade, but anyone is welcome to join us. I encourage you to try and learn as much as you can about fireflies and other animals that are bioluminescent. If you want to share your lessons with us, you can either post it to our Facebook page, Acadiana Center for the Arts, or you can email us at acadianacenterforthearts.org. At that website, you can also contact us if you want to support programs like this. Our lessons are visual arts and creative movement. These lessons will be aired on the Acadiana Open channel each morning, 8 a.m. for kindergarten and 9 a.m. for first and second grade. The channels for the lessons on Cox is channel 16, and for LUS Fiber, that's channel 4. If you are interested in private lessons with me, you can contact me at my website. Send me an email through my website at lushceramics.com. That's lushceramics.com. Thanks again for being with me. I hope to see you tomorrow.